Hello there and welcome. In this video I got you 5 tips and tricks which will help you to build stuff like you see it down below. It's all about build modes, elevated conveyor lines, aligning machines, connecting machines, and distributing materials well. With those things you should be easily able to have some fun with the game, and I hope it'll help you out. I really did my best to boil it down to the fundamental and important things. Now, first up, I want to talk about build modes. So I'm pressing middle mouse button to pick up the foundation plate, and when you hold down R, there's different build modes. Default is the mode that just plots down something when you click it, just like that. And when you go for zoop mode, you can just left click once, and then you see, you can build up to 10 blocks like that. Very, very handy stuff for mass building projects. Can recommend it enough. Same goes to conveyor builds. They have the default mode and the straight mode. So the straight mode leads to the game preferring straight curves like that, whereas the default mode just takes the shortest possible connection that it can take. Straight mode is amazing when you want to have orderly shaped factories, whereas default mode makes it nearly impossible to do so. So these are the most important things about the build mode to know. Other elements in the game also have build mode enabled, so experiment around with it as you see fit. Number 2, I want to show you how to build elevated conveyor lines without breaking a sweat. So I personally have discovered that if you build your elevated lines like holding down, dragging it up, it can grow into a real nightmare, as you see, to connect this stuff up. And I'm really unhappy with that. This is even with straight mode enabled. Instead, you can go and build those conveyor poles first. So I'm dragging and dropping here the conveyor pole. As you see, I'm getting hilt lines here too. Now we're going around the curve like that. Now I'm taking the belt, connect it to the poles, and there you have your tidy air road. You can't do that as many on as many height levels as you want to. I personally have found this invaluable to build tidier sky roads, because the free aiming tool in the game just doesn't cut it for me. So I'm holding down left control here for mass dismantling, in case you didn't know it already. And yeah, that's what I wanted to show you about elevated conveyor lines. It makes stuff like that happen so much easier. So number 3, let's talk about aligning things. You can align things by holding down left control. When you hold down left control and you use it on foundation, I'm going to show you on a spot where there is not foundation already. There's an interesting fact happening here. So on this ground, holding down left control will align the bottom plate to the grid of the world, so to speak. The world is divided into many little quadrants like that, and the advantage of doing so is that you'll have your foundations compatible to each other wherever you build them. Pretty nifty little thing. Of course, you can hold down left control also to align assembly machines like this to each other. While I'm holding down left control, I can easier turn them around while flipping the mouse wheel like this, and I also get these helping lines, as you see there, to keep the machine on the same level as the previous one. So, for the sake of other aligning things, I'm going to prepare the machinery that we're going to use for the next chapter, where I'm talking about connecting things. So we're going to build a couple of constructors that we're going to put right next to each other. So here we go. And when it comes down to splitters and such, you can also hold down control, flip them, and this way you can also align them to the entrances. As you see there, we have now 2 helping lines, and while I have left control held down, things are quite easy to manage. Alternatively, you can also use the H button, then you have the hologram pinned down, and then you can move it around with the arrow keys while moving yourself around. Sometimes it helps to find out if you have hit the spot the way you want to. So this is pretty much the stuff that you need to know about aligning things. With this knowledge, you have the most important things in your pocket. So, next up, Number 4, I want to talk about connecting things. So I'm introducing a method here which is called the Manifold method, which is a very easy, albeit, well, a little bit crude distribution method. But its advantage is that it is very easy to pull off and mass replicate. So it works like this. You go and take yourself a splitter and you put the entrance towards here. So as close to the machines as you can possibly afford. There we go. And the next splitter now is aligned to this entrance, but I'm flipping the red arrows over to this direction. There we go. And now we're repeating this as many times as we need to. There we go. That's that. So this is our entry point. So we would be hypothetically importing materials. Well, so the material that you need, come on, game, would be coming from this direction. Sorry, brain freeze. So this is the input line. Then this stuff between here, this is where we let the material for the machines ride along. Here you see. This is the road for the material to travel along, and then at the end of the road, starting to connect it to the machines. This is the Manifold method, and as you see, the pretty clear advantage of this method is you can replicate it pretty much endlessly. I'm going to talk about the disadvantages and how to fix them in the next point, but I quickly want to show you that you can use this and how to use this method also on bigger machines. I'm going to go on top of the tower here to show you that. So here you see two of these on top of each other. It's basically the same method here, just stacked, and one belt comes from the top side and the other one comes from the bottom side, and then they distribute like that. Here I want to mention, doesn't matter if they clip at this point. If you manage to make it look nice like this, pretty cool. It is not necessary though. And if you notice that you really, like me personally, struggle with getting things pressed down like that, you can also make the belts clip towards each other and just let it run. Mind you simply that the aesthetics is not hampering the game effect at all. So it doesn't matter if the machines get fed beautifully like that, or just clipping to get or a clippy mesh of belts. Don't sweat it because of that. Number 5, even distribution. So the machinery that we have made here for demonstration purposes has one distinct issue. The material goes in here, hits the first splitter, and that splitter makes a 50-50 division. 50% of the material goes that way, the other 50% go that way. Here again, 50% that way, 50% that way. You notice that this build, which is supposed to be the main backbone of the distribution, gets thinned out more and more and more and more. The good news is, eventually there's going to be too much material in each of these builds, so it doesn't matter that much anymore. But at the end of the road, the longer these distribution roads go, the less efficient they grow at the very end of the road, because obvious reasons. So there's a couple of workarounds that you can use to fix this. So first up, you can mix up builds. So let's just say we have an input which requires 60 steel ingots per minute. So, well, you would be not running something like this. This is not realistic. Icon. Let's use iron ingots, iron rods. That's better. So what you can do right now is you take a Mark II belt for the material for the belts that are supposed to transport the material to the between the machines. So what happens now is that this belt here can carry 120 items per minute, while this can only carry 60 per minute, which leads the splitter to to shoving more of the material this way than that way. It is a dirty method. It doesn't work perfectly, but it does amplify the success of the other method, which I like to combine it with. So the other method that I like to do here, as you see there, we have here a total of 6 machines. I'm now taking another splitter at this point here, and where we're going to make it like this. So, proper connections. So that splitter would be then the primary receiver of our material. But we're now going to go into the center of this, cut the line here, and connect it then like that. Make sure that these, of course, are also high quality builds. So, what has changed now is that the input is getting split evenly into 50-50 portions before it hits the wall of splitters. This is, to my own knowledge, one of the easiest ways to get a somewhat even distribution. You will still have not 100% efficiency, but I gotta say one thing to you, the 100% efficiency to hunt it down is more work than just setting up another machine. You know, that's perfectly fine in my humble opinion. But yeah, that's that. Nothing more to say. This is how you can fix an even distribution with simple methods. Of course, all of these things are relatively baseline strategies and methods that can be amplified and done. I don't want to say better, but there's always more planning and meticulously forged theory building possible. But I personally like to promote methods that are easy to understand, easy to replicate, and get you to your goals as quick as possible. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you would do different or better. I'm all eager to learn. You know, it's a sandbox game after all, and there's always so many ways to achieve the same thing. And yeah, I'm very, very eager to hear back from you guys. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing, and check out the description box. Feel free to support Icon Gaming financially if you feel like my work is worth a dime to you. That would be absolutely thrilling for me. And many, many thanks to all of the supporters of Icon Gaming. And many, many thanks to you for watching this game. Happy factory building. And I hope this video helped you out. See you soon. Bye-bye.